Hey everyone, Lewis here, and I'm here to teach you how to become more confident in the gym. As you know, being in the gym can be super intimidating, especially when you feel like you don't know how to perform exercises correctly. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you 4 of my favorite exercises for the hamstrings so I can help you tone them up. So when it comes to wearing shorts, dresses this summer, you can feel more confident with your legs out. And I'm going to teach you how to perform them correctly so you no longer feel intimidated in the gym. So if you're ready, we're going to dive right into that. So the first exercise we're going to dive into is some Romanian deadlifts. Now this is one of my favorite exercises for targeting your hamstrings, and it's going to be targeting them in a lengthened range of movement. So it means we're putting them on a stretch throughout the exercise. So what I'm going to do is take you through the entire exercise and show you how to set it up from start to finish. So firstly, when it comes to getting into the bar, what we want to make sure is we take our hands directly underneath our shoulder width. The reason we want it underneath your shoulders is because this is going to not fatigue your upper body. As we take your hands wider and wider during the exercise, to maintain this position is going to cause a lot of fatigue on the upper body, which we're not trying to work. What we want to do here is challenge your hamstrings rather than your upper body. And then if we have your hands too close during the exercise, as you can see, it's just in the way of my legs throughout the entire movement. Once we take them just outside shoulder width, then from here we can get a clear run through the entire range of movement, and we're not going to over fatigue your upper body. So the next important thing is getting your feet right. What we want to make sure is our feet are directly below our hips, so our legs are in a straight line down. I see a lot of people standing too wide during the exercise, which is going to place it a little bit more towards the adductors rather than the hamstrings. When you take your feet a little bit closer and do the hinge, you'll be able to feel it a lot more through your hamstrings, but also your glutes too. So once we've got the hand position and the foot position right, what I want you to do is really engage your lats as much as you can. What I want you to think of is that you've got oranges in your armpits and you're trying to drain the juice out of the oranges as much as you can. What this is going to do is really engage your lats. So what happens is as we come down to the bottom of the movement, we don't slack through the shoulders and round through the upper back. Once those lats are engaged, we're able to keep a taller chest throughout the movement and then be able to keep a neutral spine as well. Okay, so when it comes to the actual hinging part of this movement, what I want you to think about doing is pushing your bum back and up as high as you can, and then stopping when you can't push your bum back any further. A common mistake people make is they think about this exercise as leaning forward and coming back up and down. When we think about just coming down and up, we end up rounding through the spine. Once we master pushing your hips back as far as you can, you'll feel all the tension in your hamstrings on your glutes. And then from here, squeeze your bum, drive back up to that top point, and then all you need to do is repeat the exercise from there. The next exercise I'm a big fan of for targeting your hamstrings is going to be the hyperextension. Now, when it comes to the setup for this, you're going to have a little nozzle on the side here that we want to twist, and then basically find out where the right position is going to be. To find out the right position, what we want to do is when we're getting into position, we want to make sure that we can get a full bend all the way down without the stomach getting in the way. So for this particular machine, I need it set up just underneath my hips. If you don't have this cushion that hangs over, what you'll want to do is set it up just a little bit higher, more in the crevice of the hip. But if you do have this overhanging part of the cushion, it'll get in the way, so you have to set it up a little bit lower. Now, when it comes to the foot position, what we want to make sure is that your feet are facing directly downwards and that they're directly below your hips as well, similar to the Romanian deadlift. From here, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're coming all the way down so we can get a good stretch through those hamstrings. Next, what I want you to think about doing is pushing your heels down into the plate and then driving your hips forward into this cushion to pull yourself up into position. What I see a lot of people doing wrong for when they want to target their hamstrings is lifting up into the air instead. Now, this isn't technically a bad thing. All it does is it works your lower back more. Whereas what we're trying to do here is really target those hamstrings. So what I'm going to need you to do is push your hips forward rather than lifting yourself up. So again, from this position, toes are facing directly down. I want you to think about driving your heels down into the plate, pushing your hips forward into this pad, and then just coming up into this position here. Get a good squeeze at the top. And then as you come back down, think about lifting your bum up into the air, and that's going to help you get a greater stretch through those hamstrings. Now, what you can do to make this exercise more challenging is you can add some load to it by using a dumbbell or a plate. What you want to do is set it up at the bottom first, and get yourself into position, and then from here what you can do is grab that weight, pull it into your chest, And then from here, you can add that load to the exercise. So with the first two exercises, what we've done is we've changed your hamstrings in a lengthened range of movement with the Romanian deadlift and then a mid-range movement with the hyperextensions. What we're going to be doing now is training them in a shortened range of movement using a Lion hamstring curl machine. Now this one is going to be very different to what you have, but the principle is going to remain the same when it comes to the setup. So yeah, we'll dive into this exercise. So when it comes to the setup of the Lion hamstring curl machine, there's going to be a bolt on your machine where the machine rotates around, okay? What we want to do is set your knee up directly in line with that, and then we're going to want to adjust the cushions around there. Next, what you're going to be able to do on your hamstring curl machine is you're going to be able to adjust this cushion in and out of the back. Where we want it to come to is just underneath your calf on the machine or towards your Achilles heel. Either position on here is fine. Next, we want to make sure your hips are in line with the corner of the cushion, and then again, we want to make sure that knee is lined up with that bolt. Now, a common mistake people make is they lift their bum up during the exercise. We want to avoid this at all costs because what we're doing is making it easier for the hamstrings and we're stopping their ability to be able to fully contract. So what I want you to do is really think about driving those hips down during the exercise, keeping them down as you squeeze up towards your bum, and then we want to get a good hold at the top. Another common mistake I see people making is they bounce the exercise at the top without any control. What we're looking to do is get a good solid hold at the top, contract those hamstrings, and then very slowly release on the way back down through the movement. There's something that commonly crops up when I'm training clients with this exercise is a lot of people would tend to feel it in their calves. Now the first quarter of this movement when you're lifting it up is going to be very calf biased to initiate the movement. If you're someone that really struggles to not feel it in your calves, what I'm going to recommend you do is you skip out that first part of the movement and you just start a little bit higher. So we never go all the way down to the bottom. What this is going to do is keep that tension on your hamstrings and stop your calves from coming into the exercise. And then the final exercise is going to be some glute hamstring raises. So this is going to be for people who are a bit more advanced, a bit more strong in the hamstrings. So what I want you to do is keep your hips forward during the exercise. What we're going to do from here is slowly lower yourself down to the ground, resisting, and then you're going to squeeze your hamstrings to come back up towards that top position, okay? So again, make sure that those hips stay nice and forward, control, and then powerfully squeeze those hamstrings and contract just like you would in a Lion hamstring curl. Now, if you're struggling to be able to pull yourself back up, there's a way we can make it easier. Now, your body's 30% stronger on the lowering phase during any exercise. So what we can do is take advantage of that by simply slowly lowering yourself down, and then we can always use your hands to pick yourself back up, and then you can repeat, slowly lowering yourself down, and then again, use your arms to pull you back up into the top position. This will allow you to get stronger through those hamstrings and eventually be able to build up to be able to contract up to the top as well. Another variation that you can do is you can use your hands to assist and push yourself up. So what you would do is slowly lower yourself down and then push back up to the top position as a bit of self-assistance. And then again, that's going to come down and then use your hands to push yourself back up to the top position. And there you have it. There are my 4 favorite exercises for targeting your hamstrings. I hope you found that super helpful and you feel more confident going into your next gym session to be able to perform those exercises correctly. If you enjoyed this video and you found it super beneficial to learn how to do these exercises correctly, then make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you hit that bell notification so you can be alerted when I upload the next one.